What's going on, YouTube? We're back with episode 4 of the Maxamet Experience. I know it's been a long time coming. I've kind of spread out use of this knife for quite a while now. It's been over a month since the last episode. I have been using it, have been carrying it with me, just haven't had as much use pop up, as well as I got that large Inkosi, so I've been carrying that a little bit more as well. But on the days where I am using things heavily, I have been carrying Maxamet. This might be the last episode of this for a little while. Well, I shouldn't say that because the next 2 or 3 videos are probably going to be Maxamet themed. We're going to be doing some testing on it. But as far as the actual Maxamet experience goes, that might have to be put on hold for a little while. I'm going to start carrying some knives with other steels for the time being and kind of getting a feel for those because I feel like I get kind of spoiled with Maxamet and all of its edge holding capabilities. I think I need to carry some stuff that's a little bit softer to truly, appreciate what Maxamet is doing because it's pretty incredible stuff. So for those guys who are just seeing this episode and haven't seen any of the other previous ones, what the Maxamet experience is, I carry this Native 5 in Maxamet exclusively. I document all of its use, and I'm trying to basically push its limits to see, what the steel is capable of and what it's not good to be used for. There's so many different opinions out there on the steel, anywhere from it's an absolute cardboard destroyer to basically it's unusable in a knife. So we're trying to see what end of that is true, and I'm pretty sure here by episode 4 we have a pretty good feeling of what Maxamet is and what it can do. So first off, let's go over the use that it's been through here in the past month or so. So I've cut 30 or opened and processed 37 small boxes, 31 medium boxes, and only 3 large boxes. It's opened 23 knife boxes, cut 5 zip ties. The little test strips that I have that I cut for my edge retention testing, I cut 83 of those in half, opened 3 plastic bags, processed a raw chicken, yet again, cut up 2 pizza boxes, cut up 2 juice bottles, and last but not least, cut 629 feet of cardboard. That's just an estimate. I don't measure all my cardboard. I just kind of gauge, how big that piece is and do my measurements from there. Not quite as much as the last time, but I didn't quite let it get as dull as it did last time either. It was pretty dull, but it wasn't, just absolutely like butter knife dull like it was last time. So I actually found a point of failure for Maxamet in this episode. So first off, I chipped the blade a little bit here. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. Right about, I'm trying to pick it up here on camera. Let's see here. I think it's right up in here. It's so hard to see on camera. It's a very, very small chip. I'll show you guys on the USB microscope later. But I did chip it a little bit, and that was my fault. I had at work there was like a metal pipe that had a piece of styrofoam stuck in it, and I used this knife to dig that piece of styrofoam out, and in that process I dinged the outside of the metal pipe and put a chip in the blade. I mean, it's to be expected. That's one of the failure points of Maxamet, and I'm not too surprised by that. The other thing that happened, I was pushing the steel again, and I had a battery that was stuck in a pair of calipers, and I was trying to pry that battery out with the tip, and as you guys can see right there, I have a very small amount of chip that's tipped off, and you guys will also see that a little bit closer with the USB microscope pictures. But it got the battery out, but it chipped off just the tiniest amount. That'll be out in the next sharpening. It's very negligible. So basically we found a failure. Who would have thought that a 65 plus HRC high carbide steel can't take prying? Who knew, right? But anyhow, that's it's to be expected. We'll be doing some tougher testing here down the road. It is worth noting that I switched the scratch pattern on this as opposed to the last test. The last test, I made the scratch pattern go from tip to heel. This one's back to the straight up and down. I much prefer that for cutting. It tends to cut through cardboard a little bit easier as far as push cutting goes. It cuts the paper when I'm testing a little bit easier. I just like that edge finish a lot more. So if you guys watched the previous 2 episodes, I believe, I think it was 2 episodes ago that I brought this up. I have this theory on how Maxamet its edge breaks down, and it doesn't break down like normal edges. Normal edges will either they normally kind of roll over or just kind of blunt. Maxamet isn't quite like that. It seems like it chips out at a very, very small level and almost creates like micro serrations that allow you to continue to cut. So I have some USB microscope pictures of this yet again, and I'm going to see you guys over there at the computer, and we'll pick up from there. All right, guys, let's take a look at some of these pictures here that I took. I did something different with this edge than normal. So this is before I maintained it whatsoever. So we're going to take a look through some of these pictures. Like I've said in previous episodes, I know this isn't the best quality. I didn't, splurge on a nice USB microscope, but it is good enough for us to see kind of what we're looking for. What we're looking for here is the edge that's chipping out at a microscopic level, and you'll kind of see that just because the edge is a little bit wavy. So you guys can see that it's a little bit wavy all throughout here. It's not a clean, nice line through there. The white background kind of helps us pick that up a little bit easier. Certain areas of it kind of maintain that edge very well. Certain areas of the edge that is, hold up really well and remain pretty stable, but others kind of chip out. It kind of depends on how much use that area of the edge is seen. Something else that's worth noting that I haven't noticed previously is all the other scratches on the bevel from this time of use compared to last time. I don't think there was quite this many scratches on the actual edge bevel itself in previous episodes. So we have some more chipping out throughout here. Just very, very small. Like I said, making micro serrations basically. Here's that chip I was talking about from when I slipped and hit the edge of a pipe. You can see perfectly where that just came right in and put a nice ding in the edge. Still cuts really good though through that portion. There's another picture of the same thing. It didn't really chip out. Well, I guess that is technically a chip. It didn't really, roll to the side or anything. It just chipped out. And if you're cutting cardboard, you don't even feel it. It just continues to roll straight through it. But around that chip, you see the small micro chipping, just little peaks and valleys, basically what you're seeing throughout here. Here's the tip that I chipped off. That is very small as well. You can see just how small it is. I mean, it's a quarter, maybe a sixth of the entire width of the whole bevel. But what's worth noting here is this shiny spot where it kind of almost bent a little bit before the stress caught up and actually, chipped it. And we're back to the beginning here. So let's talk about what I did with this edge that's not normal. So recently I've picked up some 16 and 4 micron CBN compounds to go along with a nice double-sided strap that's leather. That is from Knives Ship Free. You could pick 2 of the compounds plus the strap for $99. Both CBN bottles are 2 ounces each, which is a darn big amount of CBN. You really don't need a whole lot of it. I took this recommendation to go with those 2 grit sizes from Steve. 16 microns about 1,000 grit. 4 micron is about 4,000 grit. Basically what I'm doing with those is the 16 micron is for reconditioning. Since it's a 1,000 grit, you're literally resharpening the edge. The 1 micron I think is 16,000, and at that point you're not really sharpening the edge anymore. You're just honing what's already there. With the 16 micron, you can kind of take any deformation that's happened or rolling or blunting. As I've noticed on my Chris Reeve in Cosi, when it takes that blunting, it only takes a couple of minutes on that 16 micron strap, and I'm back to where it was. So I was curious how Maxamet would kind of respond to this. So I took it to the strap, and as you guys have already seen, the edge was not sharp. It was really, really dull. It wouldn't catch on the computer paper. I'm playing that clip right now. You guys will see me stropping. I'm stropping in both directions, tip to heel, heel to tip, just to try and get as much, or try and refine that edge as much as possible and get rid of any of those micro serrations. Here it is after stropping. So you guys can see just how clean that apex got again. You do have some small, very, very small microchipping still But if you look, even the edge here, it got a little bit of micro convexity to it. Not too bad at all. But basically what I noticed is it's just refining those microchips even more. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to take that chip out until I resharpen, but it's just much finer at the apex. It's not like it's freshly sharpened. There's a really good picture of it. It cleans up that apex so well, and it responded so great to this drop. Here it is again. You can see just how clean that line is compared to the waviness of where it was before. It's just really awesome to see something that's that hard responding so well to a strop and CBN compound. So that's what I wanted to show you guys, that this stuff is very easily maintained on a strop if you have the proper abrasives. You're going to need something like mono or poly diamond or CBN like this. You probably won't be able to get away with the green and white compound that you would normally use on many other steels. You need something like those higher end compounds. So I was very pleased with the results on the strop. I kind of had a feeling it would respond relatively well to it, but I really couldn't ask for more. Just seeing how long this thing holds an edge and then being that easy to maintain, you could basically hold this edge forever. I'm not saying you won't lose edge retention every time you strop, which you probably will. If you go check out Outpost 76, Gerald there, he does some episodes called Bringing It Back where he kind of tests that kind of thing. I might eventually do that, but I'm going to leave it to Gerald for the time being. Those are excellent videos, and you should go check them out. But that whole process of me stropping only took me about 5 minutes. So from start to finish at the end of that little clip I just played there, only took me about 5 minutes. And that's awesome to take a steel from pretty much being really dull, not wanting to catch paper whatsoever, to slicing through printer paper with ease. And I can actually get it to slice through phone book paper really, really cleanly as well. So anyhow, there's also one other thing I wanted to bring up. I think I'm going to try and throw a picture up on the screen right now. I did notice a little bit of rusting on this knife through use. I think it's just from my fingers being dirty or something at work, just around the spider hole. Not a big deal. Obviously, easily remove with something like flitz or anything like that. I'm not too worried about it. I'm just going to let it go as is. But that's just something to note, basically. Obviously, it's not a stainless steel, and that's the first I've ever seen any steel rust on me, but I've never carried a knife in one particular, non-rust proof or non-rust resistant steel like this for this, long of a period of time. Anyhow, the next few videos that you guys are going to see here on the channel are going to be Maxamet related. We have a cut test coming up, so this one will get an official edge retention number here soon. I'm really hoping this thing hits the 600-700 foot mark. I have a feeling it might be able to hit 7, but we'll see. Our previous leader is M4, and that average is like 370 feet. I think the most it cut was 430 something. So I think we're going to blow that away. I think it'll hit 700 plus, but we'll see. That's just going to be on a 1-inch section. So, I don't know. We're going to figure out what the real potential of Maxamet is. There's also going to be a toughness test coming up soon, and I'm super excited for that one. We're going to put this thing through hell, and this edge will not come out pristine. It's going to take some major reprofiling to fix it after we're done with it. But if you guys have any toughness tests that you want to see me do on Maxamet, drop them down in the comments below. I'd love to incorporate them in. The last thing here I want to mention in the video, I just rolled over 300 subscribers, and there will be a 300 subscriber giveaway coming up very soon. It's either going to be one of the next two videos will be the rules for the giveaway. I have a bunch of stuff to give away, well over $150 worth of stuff, and I'm very, very excited for you guys to be able to participate in it. So if you want to be notified when I post that video and you want to be included in the giveaway, make sure that you're subscribed. That's the only way you can do it. So anyhow, guys, that's going to do it for me. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I'll see you guys on the next episode of the Maxamet Experience. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.